Let this be your awakening, not a suggestion, not a whisper, but a thunderclap at the door of your distracted life. Hear these words, not with your ears, but with your spine. Let them settle in your gut like a warning from the future you swore you'd never become. Because if you're listening to this while scrolling, glancing between tabs, half hearing while multitasking, then stop now. You are not ready. You are not focused. And you, more than anyone, need what comes next. You are the one in danger, not from enemies, not from poverty, not even from failure, but from your own divided attention. The man who cannot hold his focus will not lose simply his job or his goals. He will lose his entire life. He will drift through youth like a shadow, wondering where the years went. He will ruin his future with unfinished things, half-built dreams, and almost started plans. He will rob his family not just of provision, but of pride. He will be a ghost in his own home, present, but not alive, surrounded, but not seen. And one day he will lie in silence, not from peace, but from regret, with every dream he once spoke now buried deep inside him, never pursued, never built, never born. You say you want more. You say you want your kids to point and say, "That's my father, that's my mother. That's the one who never gave up." You speak of a future where you are free, free from debt, free to choose your day, free to walk into your purpose with strength. But I ask you, what have you built that proves it? Because freedom is not found in dream, it's found in discipline. You will not get what you want until you give what it takes. And I tell you now, you will never touch what you desire if you do not fix your focus. You will speak in visions, but live in excuses. You will chase novelty like a child, chasing light through trees, touching everything, mastering nothing. You will be the man who started, the woman who almost did, the story no one remembers. And yes, you will lie to yourself. You will say, "I tried, I gave it my best." But inside, you will know the truth. You never truly locked in. You never gave all of you to anything. You never finished what mattered. Understand this, you cannot be a builder with a broken mind. You cannot be a father with a scattered spirit. You cannot be free if every mood, every message, every meaningless distraction commands your attention. If you obey everything, you stand for nothing. So sit up, still your hands, still your mind, breathe in. Let this not be entertainment. Let this not be just another message you'll forget by noon. This is not a moment. It is a command. This is the voice that shakes you out of drift. Because here is the law. If you learn to hold one thought, if you train your mind to obey your will, if you can command your hour like a general commands an army, then there is nothing you cannot build. You will finish. You will overcome. You will live days where the clock bows to you, not the other way around. You will rise while others wander. You will put on your mental armor before the world even wakes. You will walk into a future others only imagine. And you will say, "I did not drift. I did not delay. I built." And you will not just achieve goals. You will become the kind of person who achieves anything they choose. Not because you had more time, not because you had more talent, but because you mastered focus. You learned the secret every builder knows. Hold the line. Ignore the noise. Finish what you start. This is your dividing line, your before and after, the moment you either rise or return to the same scattered cycle that stole your best years. And make no mistake, if you ignore this, if you continue to scatter your mind across 1,000 tasks, if you refuse to train your focus, then failure is guaranteed, not because you're not capable, but because you're not committed. So I say it again, and let it burn into your memory. Focus now or fail forever. Part 2. The law of power. Attention is a throne, and something will sit on it. Every hour, every moment, whether you choose it or not. Your mind is not a void. It is a kingdom. Your thoughts are not suggestions. They are rulers. And if you do not claim the crown of your attention, something else will. The world is not waiting for you to focus. It is already trying to steal it. Understand this truth. Attention is power. It is not casual. It is not optional. It is the gateway to every achievement, every breakthrough, every ounce of greatness you will ever touch. A man without control of his attention is not just distracted. He is powerless. He is a king without a crown, a general without an army, a builder without blueprint. And just as a throne cannot serve two kings, your mind cannot obey two thoughts. Either you choose the aim or the world will choose it for you. There is no middle ground. Either you command your attention with force and clarity, or your attention will be hijacked by noise, novelty, and emotion. You were not made to drift. You were made to dominate. And domination begins with what you choose to look at, to dwell on, to return to, again and again, because where your attention goes, your life follows. This is not a motivational phrase. It is the law. It has shaped every empire, every invention, every revolution. Behind every legacy stands one truth. Someone held a thought longer than the world expected them to. While others gave up, they returned. While others scattered, they drilled deeper. While others moved on, they built. Think of Henry Ford. He did not invent the motor car. He didn't create the first engine or the first wheel. He simply focused harder, longer, more violently than anyone else. He held one vision: transportation for the working man. He didn't flirt with it. He committed to it. He repeated it. He spoke it into meetings, wrote it into plans, carved it into factories. That thought became an empire because it was not dropped when others doubted. It was not abandoned when obstacles rose. It was held relentlessly until the world had no choice but to follow. Ford's power was not in his tools. It was in his attention. His dominance came not from resources, but from refusal to scatter. He did not chase 10 dreams. He served one until it bled into reality. You must see this now. You think you lack time, but you lack focus. You think you lack resources, but you lack attention. You think others succeed because they have more connections, more support, more opportunity. No, they have more control over their mind. Talent is wasted without focus. Intelligence is powerless without direction. Even time, your most sacred currency, is squandered without control of where your attention lands. If your thoughts jump, your results will scatter. If your mind wanders, your future will too. There are men who fill their day with action, yet build nothing. They move, talk, plan, but never arrive. Not because they lack ambition, but because they lack the one thing that turns motion into momentum: focused attention. And then there are those who walk in silence, fix their eyes on a single task, and in a year, a decade, build legacies that outlive them. The difference is not energy. It's not even effort. The difference is attention. 2 men can live the same number of years. One dies ordinary, the other immortal, not because of fate, but because one chose to obey a single thought long enough to see it bloom, while the other served whatever distracted him next. A drifting mind is not harmless. It is betrayal. It is disobedience to purpose. It is rebellion against your own greatness. And most people don't even see it. They think attention is passive. They think thoughts just happen. They don't. Thoughts are chosen. Focus is built. Attention is not inherited. It is trained like a soldier, like a muscle, like a warrior. You must fight to hold a thought. You must drag your attention back, over and over, like pulling a chariot through mud. And you do this until the thought is no longer just in your head. It's in your habits, your hands, your speech, your environment. You must burn it into your hours until it becomes not what you do, but who you are. This is what Ford understood, what every builder knows. The law is this: hold one thought long enough, and the world bends to it. There is no such thing as destiny apart from attention. Destiny is not written by the stars. It is written by the man who learns to stare at one aim and carve it into stone, the one who returns, who repeats, who refines. The man who rules his attention rules his future. You were not given a scattered mind. You were trained to scatter it. You were raised in noise, rewarded for juggling, praised for doing too much. But now you know better. You know that achievement is not an accident. It is the fruit of radical attention. So here is the daily law. Speak it, write it, live it. Attention is power. Where my attention goes, my life follows. I choose the thought. I fix it in place. I hold it like a throne. I build nothing else until it is built. Part 3. The Builder's Creed. Because no man builds a legacy while doing 5 things at once. No empire was ever forged in fragments. The mind is not a web to be stretched thin. It is a blade to be sharpened and aimed. And only those who learn to aim it at one thing with single-minded intensity will ever cut through the resistance this world will throw at them. Your attention is not meant to be divided. It was meant to be driven, focused, forged in fire. You were not made to juggle. You were made to build. The man who dabbles, who spreads himself across a dozen projects, 100 ambitions, is not growing. He is scattering. He is not disciplined. He is drowning in distraction, disguised as productivity. Picture the blacksmith. He does not strike random iron. He chooses the blade, heats it, strikes it, again and again until it bends, until it takes shape. His hammer is not wasted on everything. It is wielded with direction, precision, purpose. Every blow adds heat. Every strike brings form. Every repetition births something real. And so it must be with your mind. You cannot hammer your attention across 10 tasks and expect anything solid to emerge. You must choose the steel, choose the shape, and hit it until it glows. The same sunlight that warms the earth can set it on fire when passed through a lens. That lens is your focus. Without it, your energy drifts, warms, fades. But held still, held steady, held unshakingly over one aim, that same energy ignites, and with it you build. Not by chasing more, not by doing more, but by doing one thing. Fiercely, daily, until the world has no choice but to notice. This is what they don't teach you. That clarity is more powerful than effort. That one focused mind is more dangerous than 10 scattered ones. That the uncommon man is not the most talented, but the most disciplined in his direction. He is the one who chooses an aim and obeys it until it bows. Andrew Carnegie did not dream of 10 futures. He did not entertain every path. He did not chase everything that sparkled. He saw one vision, the empire of steel, and he made it law within himself. He thought it, spoke it, imagined it, so fully that the future was already bending toward him before the first beam was laid. He saw mills before they existed. He saw men building what had not yet been drawn. He repeated the dream until even doubt surrendered, and then he built it. Carnegie didn't juggle industries. He didn't flirt with distraction. He didn't plant 10 seeds. He planted one, and he watered it with fire. That's the creed. That's the law of builders. You don't plant and wander. You plant and you stay. You stay through storms. You stay through silence. You stay until the roots break stone. The man who builds his mind around one purpose is not obsessed. He is free because he no longer chases the wind. He no longer checks every door. He walks one path, and every step gains power because he never leaves it. And now, this must become your creed. Not someday, not after one more failure. Now, today, this hour, this minute. Say it with your voice. Let the words learn the shape of your mouth. I fix one aim and serve it only. Say it again. I think of one thing. I see one result. I walk as if no other path exists. You are not made to flirt with goals. You are made to marry them, to tie your spirit to your direction with such permanence that distraction dies in your presence. That hesitation cannot survive your movement. That uncertainty trembles at your footsteps. There will always be another idea, another door, another option, but none of them are better than finishing what you were born to build. And you will never finish what you do not hold. No castle was ever raised by a man who changed the blueprint each morning. No fire was ever born by a hand that couldn't hold the lens. No victory was ever claimed by a soldier who kept changing battles. You must stay. You must return. You must repeat. And you must rise. Because the world does not yield to scattered minds. It bows to builders. And builders hold one line until the world moves. Part 4. The discipline of stillness. They told you to hustle harder, move faster, do more, wake up earlier, work later, sleep less, grind more, stack tasks, stack wins, stay busy, stay loud, never stop, never slow down. That's the lie they fed you. And now you're tired, not because you're weak, but because you believed them. You believed productivity meant motion. You believed discipline meant noise. You believed success belonged to the ones who burned out the fastest. And now you're burning, fast, scattered, wired but empty, moving constantly but building nothing. But here is the truth they never said out loud. The most powerful builders are still, not lazy, not passive, but still inside. Their clarity is quiet. Their mind is clean. They move, yes, but with reason, with rhythm, with aim. They are not busy. They are effective. Hustle is noise. Stillness is power. And only one builds legacies. You do not need more to become more. You need less. Fewer apps, fewer notifications, fewer opinions, fewer open tabs. You need space between thoughts, air between decisions, silence in your morning, time where nothing moves but your mind. Because it's not the chaos outside that's killing your focus. It's the chaos inside. It's the constant buzzing in your head, the layers of pressure, the mental tabs left open, the to-do list longer than your attention span. You think more effort will fix it. But the answer is not adding more. It is subtracting what no longer belongs. Stillness is subtraction, and greatness is the result. Edison understood this. They said he was mad, wandering his labs in silence, staring at machines no one else understood. But what he was really doing was thinking, not frantically, not distracted, just thinking. One thought, held, deepened, refined. His gift was not just invention. His gift was presence. He could dwell on a thought until it bent to his will. Lincoln did the same. They called him slow, measured, too calm in crisis. But that stillness, that silence before decisions, it's what saved a nation. He did not react. He reflected. He listened more than he spoke. And because of that, when he spoke, the world moved. The mind does not reach power through clutter. It reaches power through clarity. And clarity is born in stillness. You don't need another book. You need to reread the one that already spoke to your soul. You don't need a new plan. You need to remove the tasks that don't align. You don't need 5 goals this year. You need one, held with fire. Discipline is not frantic. Discipline is focused. And focus is not about doing more. It's about doing less, better, deeper, with more presence, more precision, more peace. You've been sold the idea that doing everything means you're productive. But the truth is you're just exhausted. You're caught in the illusion of progress, spinning wheels, checking boxes, moving fast and going nowhere. But when you strip all of it away, when you reduce, when you subtract, when you sit in silence with only the essentials, what remains? That is who you are. That is what you must build from. Stillness isn't weakness, it's discipline. The discipline to say no, the discipline to stop scrolling, the discipline to cancel noise, the discipline to turn down opportunities that don't serve your direction. It's the strength to be bored, to be silent, to think deeply without input, without permission, without validation. Stillness is the power to hear your own mind again. And when your mind becomes quiet, it becomes sharp. It slices through distraction. It points to what matters. It no longer reacts. It decides. This is what most will never know, because stillness feels unnatural at first, like weakness, like inaction. But in that silence, your vision sharpens. Your direction hardens. Your next move reveals itself not from noise, but from clarity. Because in the end, focus is not an increase in effort. It's a reduction in confusion. You don't need more motivation. You need less noise, less speed, less scattered urgency. You need to come back to center, come back to silence, come back to the one aim that truly matters, and strip everything else away until that aim stands alone in the center of your mind. That's the builder's way. Still, clear, relentless. Part 5, The Fortress Within Day. Your mind is not a hallway. It's not a hotel for every thought that knocks. It's not a marketplace where strangers shout and linger. Your mind is a fortress. It is sacred ground, and the doors are not open to everyone or everything. Not anymore. What enters stays. What stays grows, and what grows shapes you. So if you let in complaint, it becomes your tone. If you let in comparison, it becomes your lens. If you let in fear, it becomes your map. You cannot build anything lasting with a storm raging inside. You cannot create in a room filled with smoke. Every day, thoughts arrive uninvited. Some whisper, some scream, some wear the face of urgency, others the mask of self-pity. But they all have one goal: to shake your focus, to break your form, to pull your mind out of its frame. You must meet them with discipline, with violence, if necessary. The same way a guard watches a gate, you must scan each thought. Does this serve my aim? Does this build me? Does this push me forward? If not, it leaves. No delay, no debate. Expel all that does not serve your aim. That is not just advice, that is law, and it must be obeyed daily. Not once when you feel motivated, not once when the world goes quiet, but every morning as ritual, as purge, as cleansing of the mental soil before any seed is planted. You rise, and you begin with inspection. What is living rent-free in your mind? What voice has been looping since yesterday? Who did you compare yourself to in the scroll? What complaint did you allow to echo? What fear sat in your gut while you pretended to move forward? Identify, extract, expel. Your focus is not lost, it is buried. Buried under debris you refuse to throw out. The mind cannot rise when it is holding weight that belongs to the past, or to people who do not build what you build, or to fears that do not exist yet. You must clear the room, burn the old notes, sweep the floor, and stand again in silence, with only your aim and your breath. This is not weakness, this is war, and the battlefield is internal. Most men are defeated before they even leave their house, not by enemies, but by undisciplined thought, by allowing anything and everything to echo in the chamber of their mind. A fortress is not open to the public. Neither is your focus. Neither is your purpose. You think the danger is outside, but the real danger is always internal. Complaint that dilutes your hunger. Comparison that hijacks your direction. Fear that slows your hand. Urgency that makes you reactive instead of strategic. All of them are thieves. All of them come dressed as concern or realism or momentum, and all of them must be removed like poison. You must begin the day by cleaning the glass, wipe away the smudges of distraction, clear out the thoughts that were never yours, reclaim silence, not to feel calm, but to feel ready. This is your morning ritual. Purge before plan, clean before build, align before execute. You do not begin the day with the world's noise. You begin it by returning to yourself, strong, still, sharpened. You enter the world from behind your walls, not with anxiety but with authority. Because a fortress is not just a defense, it is a platform, a base, a command center. From it you launch everything, and if the foundation is cracked, every action will tremble. So here is your command. Write it, speak it, drill it until it's instinct. I expel all that does not serve my aim, every complaint out, every fear named and thrown, every comparison burned, every urgency slowed and questioned. Only clarity remains, only purpose, only the next move. Undistorted, you are not here to entertain every voice, you are here to build, and a builder keeps his temple clean. Part 6. The War of Focus. This isn't a suggestion, this is war. Your focus is not a preference. It is a battlefield, and every day without permission or pause, the war begins again. You are being hunted. Your attention is under siege. Notifications, opinions, gossip, doubt, anxiety, half-open tabs, half-finished conversations, each one an enemy disguised as something harmless, but none of it is neutral. Everything either sharpens your edge or dulls it, and the dull are defeated. You think you can casually focus. You think you can dip in and out of clarity and still build something that outlasts you? No, that softness is exactly what they want from you. Weak attention, lazy presence, distracted hands. They want you constantly interrupted, endlessly available, divided in mind and mission. Because the man who can't hold focus can't hold power. Focus is not a mood, it's a weapon, and it must be wielded like one. Discipline is your shield, not motivation, discipline, because motivation is emotional. It fades, it lies, it waits for ideal weather. But discipline rises without it. Discipline acts when it doesn't feel like it. Discipline moves while fear begs it to stop. It does not check its feelings. It obeys the aim. That's the difference between the ones who almost built something and the ones who did. Not talent, not charisma, not even intelligence, just discipline to stay on the battlefield longer than everyone else. You wake up and the fight begins. Not outside, but inside. The enemy is not only your phone, your inbox, the algorithm. It's your own voice that says, check it real quick, start later, maybe switch tasks, maybe don't go so hard today. That voice is not neutral, it is sabotage in disguise. And so you must fight. Not once, not occasionally, every single day. This is why you need rituals. Rituals are not routines, they're armor. They protect your focus, they prepare your spirit, they lock your energy in place. A man without rituals is easy to knock off course, but the man with a system is harder to shake. Your ritual doesn't have to look impressive, it has to be unbreakable. Wake, breathe, silence, write the aim, review the mission, close the loops, destroy the excess, lock the door. No input before intention, no screen before self, no reaction before command. You must win the morning, because if you lose the first hour, you've already surrendered the field. And it doesn't end there. You check in with yourself like a soldier checks his weapon. Throughout the day, return, reset, cut noise, rebuild clarity. You do not let drift go unchecked. You do not let distraction dig roots. You remain alert, focused, unavailable to the unimportant. This is war, and in war, the undisciplined are casualties. You are not trying to focus. You are at war for your attention, because your attention is your life, and anything that steals it, steals your future. Every stolen second compounds. Every moment of drift becomes a month of delay. Every interruption is a fracture in your structure, and if you don't protect it, no one else will. The modern world is designed to break your focus. Entire industries exist to hijack it, and they are winning. Most people don't even know they've lost, but you do. You feel it when you stop mid-task to check something meaningless. You feel it when your ideas get cut off by trivial noise. You feel it when you collapse at night and realize you spent 80% of your day reacting instead of creating. That awareness is your weapon. Now sharpen it. Now fight. You are not a consumer of noise. You are a commander of attention. You build gates. You build firewalls. You don't just schedule time, you protect time. You don't just start projects, you defend them. You don't just want clarity, you go to war for it. Because only the focused finish. Part 7, Becoming Unshakable. Purpose doesn't ask how you feel. It doesn't wait for your permission. It commands, and you either obey or you drift. The man who obeys his purpose becomes unshakable, not because he never doubts, not because he never gets tired, but because he has chosen to submit to something higher than mood, pain, or circumstance. Obedience to purpose is not weakness. It is strength refined. It is will forged into form. When every voice inside wants to quit, delay, question, obedience moves anyway, because obedience doesn't argue. It executes. This is the shift most never make. They wait to feel inspired. They chase sparks. But the builder doesn't wait. He trains, and what he trains becomes habit. What becomes habit becomes identity. And identity is what holds you when storms hit, not hype, not vision boards. Identity. The man who repeats his aim daily begins to believe it. The man who writes it begins to embody it. The man who speaks it begins to walk like it's already real. Not someday now. He no longer says, I want to build. He says, I build. He no longer says, I'll try to focus. He says, I do not move. You are not what you feel. You are what you repeat. You are what you obey. So begin every day with declaration, not for motivation, but alignment. You wake, you breathe, you return to the words that shape you, and you speak them like steel. I am the one who builds. I am not moved. Say it again. Say it until your spine straightens. Say it until your mind obeys. Say it until it becomes instinct. Because the world will try to move you. It will throw doubt, delay, crisis. It will put temptation in your path and urgency in your inbox. But you will not move. You know what you're here to do. You know the structure you serve. You know the aim you protect. The unshakable man is not louder than the world. He is deeper than it. His roots are sunk. His rhythms are anchored. His mind is trained. He does not break when questioned. He does not pause when doubted. He continues, because repetition isn't boring. It's how identity is carved. It's how muscle is built. It's how empires are laid. Every day you repeat the aim. You strengthen your alignment. Every time you write it, you hammer it deeper into the walls of your being. Every time you speak it, you silence the noise that tries to pull you back. Thought becomes habit. Habit becomes identity. Identity becomes destiny. But it begins with obedience. Obedience to the aim. Obedience to the structure. Obedience to the builder you're becoming. Others follow their feelings. You follow the blueprint. Others drift with the wind. You stay fixed on the foundation. Others move when the world moves. You do not move. Part 8. The Builder's Manifesto. You began scattered, pulled by noise, torn by distractions dressed as obligations. You moved but without direction. You wanted to build, but you hadn't yet decided who you were. That ends now, because something inside you woke up. The call hit you like steel. Focus now or fail forever. And you listened. You returned to the throne of your attention. You remembered the law: where your attention goes, your life follows. And from that moment, everything changed. You stopped trying to do everything. You fixed one aim. You said no to noise. You chose depth over speed, simplicity over chaos. You trained the mind like a fortress. You expelled every intruder: comparison, complaint, fear, urgency. You built rituals. You replaced motivation with discipline. You walked into each day like a soldier, eyes forward, aim sharp, bound to purpose. You became unshakable, because your identity was no longer borrowed from the outside world. It was built one thought, one habit, one repetition at a time. The same words, written, spoken, drilled, not to impress, to align. You declared it daily: I am the one who builds. I am not moved. And now look at what's forming. You've crossed over. You no longer chase clarity. It follows you. You no longer try to focus. You are focused, not as a task but as a nature. It's who you are now, a builder, one who decides, one who protects his direction like blood, one who refuses to be rushed, scattered, or owned by the world. You live in a fortress of stillness. You walk with obedience to purpose. You rise with aim, not noise. You no longer drown in urgency. You no longer bend to opinion. You no longer explain yourself to distraction. You've become what they said was impossible in the modern age: undistracted. And with that, your life begins to echo the laws you kept. Your work deepens, your relationships sharpen, your health strengthens, your money aligns, your peace expands, not by doing more but by doing less better, with fire, with clarity, with total presence. This is what it means to build a life, not react to one, to create in alignment, not exhaustion, to lead yourself every hour, every thought, every day. And so here it is, the manifesto. No fluff, no apology, just the law you now live by. I am a builder. I fix my aim and serve it only. My attention is my throne. I do not give it away. I am not led by feeling. I am led by structure. I do not hustle. I move with precision. I protect my mornings. I purge distraction. I do not explain myself to chaos. I repeat my aim. I write it. I speak it. I become it. I do not drift. I do not split. I do not delay. I focus. I build. I finish. I am not moved. I am not moved. I am not moved. This is your life now, fully claimed, fully owned, fully built. No more fragments. No more noise. No more waiting for clarity to find you. You are the clarity. You are the structure. You are the one who holds the line. One aim, one thought, one life, fully built.